let's talk about the 7 biggest lies that you have ever been told about money. These 7 misconceptions are things that will keep you broke if you believe them, and almost everybody does. Lie number 1, you should have multiple streams of income. This is the stupidest thing that has ever been said on the internet. Now, I know it's wildly popular and lots of people talk about it, but let me tell you the truth. People who are rich always get rich from not multiple streams of income, but from one amazing stream of income. They got wealthy because they sold one business. They had one talent, one skill set. They did one side hustle, one thing they did really, 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 really well. They took all of their extra time, all of their extra attention, all of their extra money, resources, education, and they invested it into doing one thing and making sure that one thing succeeded, not from having lots of little things going. That's not how you get rich. Number 2, do not save for a big tax return. Do not plan for a big tax return. Do not trust your family when they say you should increase your withholdings out of your paycheck every month so that you can get a larger tax refund later. No, rich people do not do that. Rich people will never trust their money in the hands of the government more than the extent that they have to. Why? Because the government has proven time and time again that they do not spend money responsibly. They cannot balance a budget. They cannot spend less than they make. They also are not speedy about getting your money back to you. And so taking your money and putting it into their hands is not a wise idea. The other thing is, rich people know that the amount of money that you have is one thing that's important, but something else that's important is when you have that money. Every day that goes by that you don't have that money is another day that you can't be investing that money, investing that into your business, into your personal development, into your education, into your staff, your team, your systems. And so if the government is hanging on to your money for an entire year before you get it back, that means there's a whole year there that you didn't have that money to do something with to build your own income. Don't leave it in their hands and don't plan for a big tax return. Number 3, most people believe that a home is going to be their greatest expense, or that college will be their greatest expense, or that a wedding might be their greatest expense. Pop quiz. If I asked you, what do you think is the single biggest expense that you will have in your lifetime? There's a good chance it is one of those things. But I promise you, it is none of those things. The number 1 single greatest, biggest expense in your life for all of us is taxes. Taxes, taxes, taxes will be by far the number 1 thing you spend money on. And here's what's crazy about taxes. The money is spent before you even get the money in your hand. They take that money out of your check before you ever even see it. It's almost as if it didn't exist. Well, that's a huge amount of money. For most people, that's going to be somewhere between 20 and 50% of your income over the course of your life is going to disappear before you even get it. So what do rich people do? Do they avoid paying taxes? No, they don't cheat, you don't lie, but what you do is you learn about tax strategy. You learn about the income tax code. You surround yourself with intelligent entrepreneurs and intelligent investors and intelligent CPAs who can teach you how to minimize your tax liability. The goal, do not cheat your taxes. Do not try to not pay taxes, but make sure that you're taking advantage of every available discount that the government gives you through the legal tax code. That is what the IRS tax code is. It is a bunch of legal rules. It's a bunch of laws and strategies that you can use to legally reduce your tax liability. The reason the government uses these loopholes is because they're incentivizing certain behaviors. They're incentivizing you to save for your own retirement. They're incentivizing for you to start businesses because that creates jobs. They're incentivizing you to pay for the retirement for other people. They incentivize you to do things like invest in certain types of real estate, provide low-income housing, do things that are eco-friendly. Pay attention to these laws and learn something about taxes. Number 4. You'll hear this all the time. You need to build up your credit. No, you don't. Credit is dumb. Credit is stupid. Rich people do not get rich by borrowing their way there. Borrowing your way to riches is risky. The safe way to get rich is to save up money and pay for things and wait to buy things until you have the money. If you need credit, you probably don't need to buy the thing. Credit, by definition, means you don't yet have the money that you need in order to be able to afford the thing. And so that is risky. In the Bible, it says the borrower is slave to the lender. You don't need credit. Credit is risky. Now, there might be certain types of business credit that maybe you use at some point, but I'm telling you, debt is dumb, like Dave Ramsey says. Stay away from it. Figure out a way to control your income. Why does this matter? Because the number one way that you will become rich is by keeping control of your income. When you have debt, then what happens is you pay the government first, then you get money, and then you have to pay all of your debtors. You have to pay your mortgage, your car insurance, your car payment. You have to pay off that sofa. You have to buy all of these other things, and then what you have left is little, little, little. You don't want to do that. What you want to do is own your car, own your house, like minimize your taxes to the extent legally possible and preserve as much of your income, live below your means and save your income. Because here's what's amazing about being debt-free. When you're debt-free and you have no debt, every dollar you make stacks on top of it. And then next month, stacks on top of that, and stacks on top of that, and stacks on top of that, and stacks on top of that. Are there some schemes that sometimes you can borrow your way to rich? I mean, maybe there's a lot of people that will sell it to you, but beware, most of those people will go broke at some point in their life. Maybe a few people figure it out, but it is highly risky. And more than that, it's guaranteed to be more stressful than being debt-free. So don't buy into the lie that you must have credit. You don't. You can be rich by saving money and having income stack on top of income, stack on top of income. Which leads me to the next one. People will sometimes say, if you want to make $1 million, you should look like $1 million. You need to look rich to get rich. No, you don't. You do not need fancy clothes. You do not need a fancy car. You do not need fancy bags. You do not need fancy shoes. You do not need fancy watches. Read the book, The Millionaire Next Door. This book will tell you that most millionaires drive very basic affordable cars. Most of them do not have watches that cost more than a couple $100. They do not have really, really nice homes until later, once they have sold a business or had some big liquidity event, or they have done something massive where they have massive income in their life. Don't try to fake it until you make it with money. What you want to do is keep it low profile until you're making so much money off of your investments and so much money off of your business that your passive income can pay for your expenses. Until that point, don't go out and spend a bunch of money on the nicest stuff, the fanciest stuff. It won't help you make more money. What will help you make more money is adding more value in the marketplace, being more skilled, and building relationships with people by adding value to their life. Do that, and then you will make money. Next, people will tell you, take a job with a high salary. Oh my gosh. People will tell you, your parents will tell you, your grandparents, take the job with the high salary. I'm not against salaries per se, but if you want to know the truth about how rich people got rich, the way you get rich is to choose to be paid for your results, not paid for your time. Is a salary more guaranteed? Yes. Is it safer? Yes. Is it less risky? Yes. In a sense, it's also not as guaranteed to make you massive amounts of income in the long term. You've probably heard this, which is true. Often, the more risk, the more reward. If you want to make real money, figure out a way to be paid for your results. Find a way to say, I'm going to take the risk. I'm going to lend my time, my talents, my skill set into building something either for myself or as part of a company and say, how can I create something where I get paid based on the output of my results, based on the growth of revenue for the business, based on the expense reduction? How can I tie my labor to an outcome? And I will bet on me. That's what rich people do. So you can have the high salary, it will be safer, but It's very, very few people have super high salaries that make them super rich. The people that you see that are rich are the people who took a chance on themselves. And finally, number 7 lie that you hear about money. If you want to make a lot of money, go to college. If you want to make a lot of money, go to college. That is not true. Not if you want to get rich. Now, I don't have any problems with college per se. College can be good. College can teach you some basic skills. But for most people, if you want to go in debt, that's when you go to college. For most of us, college is what puts us in debt, unless you have a family member who is covering your bills, which I did not have the luxury of that. You will take on student loans, right? So debt, you come out of college with debt. The other thing is college doesn't teach you much about making money. College tends to prepare you to work in corporate America. It tends to prepare you to be an employee, which is fine. You don't have to be ultra rich to be successful in life. But if you really want to make money, you have to realize that college, while it's not a bad thing, college doesn't teach you how to make money. It doesn't teach you how to invest. It doesn't teach you how to take chances. It doesn't teach you how to be paid for your results. It doesn't teach you how to reduce taxes. It doesn't teach you how rich people think, because most of the people who teach in colleges are not rich. They haven't been. Most of them have never been successful business owners, successful salespeople. Some of them have been highly paid corporate executives, but even highly paid corporate executives often pay a lot in taxes. So I'm not against college, but if you want to be rich, college is not the place to go to learn how to be rich. If you want to learn how to be rich, you learn that from other people who have accumulated some level of wealth. That's typically the place that you will learn that. By the way, if you want to know the best of what I have learned and accumulated on wealth, I put together a training that's completely free for you. It's called High Earner Habits. Just click the link around this video and I'll send you the free training. It's completely free and it teaches you the 7 ways that wealthy people think and live that's different from everybody else. So there you have it. 7 lies that you have likely been told about money. And why do people tell these lies? Are they deliberately trying to trick you? I don't know. I don't think so. I think what it is that by definition, very few people ever become ultra wealthy. By definition, most people are in the middle class. That doesn't mean they're middle class people, doesn't mean they're middle class citizens. It just means that they have an average range of wealth. And by the way, you can be an amazing person and make a huge difference in the world and not be rich. Being rich doesn't mean you're an amazing person. Being an amazing person means you're an amazing person. But if you want to get rich, then you have to learn about money. And if you want to learn about money, you should learn about money from people who have money, not from people who don't. And unfortunately, most of the voices in your life who teach you about money are probably not people who have lots and lots of money. So find your nearest rich person and ask them for advice. And I bet when you do, they'll agree with the 7 things that I just shared. These are 7 lies that almost everybody tells you that will keep you broke.